Hi YouTube, it's Joe here, part-time eBay reseller from South East London. Not done a video for a while. My videos have come in quite sparse and few and far between because how busy I've been, but it's Saturday morning today and I've got a bit of time, so I thought I'd quickly show you what I picked up this morning and also some of the bits that I've been up to during the week. Carboot sale this morning was quiet, it was really cold and there wasn't much there, but I still managed to get a few bits and pieces which I'll show you there at the back. Things I got. Nothing too exciting. So I picked up these Adidas trainers for a couple of quid. Should do alright on them, should get about 15 to 20 back on them. There's a guy who had a bag of Duplo. And I could see a couple of the figures and I could see all these yellow base plates. He said it had a set in it, but it actually turned out it's got two sets and they're both, this one's complete except for a drawer it's missing out of the back here, which isn't so significant. And then it's got Jesse's Roundup set there. So yeah, 5 quid I paid for that, and this set I'll probably get about 30, 35 back for this. Jesse about, I don't know, it depends how much you want to hold out for, maybe 15. And then it had a buzz as well, which was just extra in there. So that was great. So I paid £5 for that and that was really nice. And those took no time to put together, just by googling Duplo house, and then it showed like images, showed like 5 or 6 houses, recognised the one which I had, and then just sort of like looked for the instructions, and yeah, it took no time, so that was great. A little pair of Air Max, paid not Air Max, sorry, Air Force Ones, paid 50p on those. Sell those for about 12 to 15, start them at about 15 and then sometimes drop them. Nice pair of Converse white, size 9, paid 4 quid for those, but should get about 22 to 25 back on them. A Discman, it's a D171 I believe. Yeah, D171. They go for about, they've sold for 20 quid in the past, but yeah, I'll probably get about 15 quid back for that. Paid a couple of quid for that. Picked up 5 CDs for 50p and scanned them all in. A couple of them were, you know, on scanning them in, they were £4.30 or something like that. So there's 2 really good ones in there, so I might sell those separately. And then a Scrabble Deluxe, paid 2 quid for that, and should look for about 20 back on that, particularly in the build up to Christmas. So that's what there was at the boot sale. It was really funny, there was a few, it was strange, like the guy who sold me this Duplo for really cheap, then sort of had some Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards, not a huge number of them, just like a little bundle in a hairband, and I sort of picked him up and I thought he was going to say, oh, that's a quid or something like that, and he told me, no, these are really rare, and they weren't really rare, they were just very common ones, because these are really rare, and that's, I was going to do them for, 5 cards for £3, and I was like, gosh, I was like, sorry mate, I just don't know enough about it to be able to pay that sort of price for it. I knew that there wasn't really anything significant in there, but crazy. And then another guy had a load of Playmobil, but it was all like dirty and old, and it was retro stuff, but he had like a bag of little of figures in there, maybe like 20, 30 figures, and I said, how much is that? And he goes, oh, there's 2 sets in there, rare sets in there, want 15 quid each. I was like, what, that bag's 30 quid? And I was just like, so there's some really funny sort of pricing going on, but there's, you know, I still picked up a few things, so yeah, that'll keep me busy. In terms of pickups during the week, yeah, done really well actually at the charity shops locally where I live. I found one of the charity shops which is Save the Children, but it's like quite close to, obviously it's got a good relationship with a Mary Porter shop, because I picked up these pair of diesel jeans, and in here it's got like the Mary Porter's Living and Giving shop, must be local, and they wanted 40 quid for them. Then they obviously knocked them down to 10 quid or whatever, but then in this shop they sold them for 6 quid. So it's really quality, so it's quite good to sort of know that shop. They sort of seem to do some quite good prices on stuff in there. Picked up a couple of pairs of 501s for like 5 quid, and then this pair was 7 quid I paid, but they're waist 38, and I always find that the big waist ones you can always ask slightly higher price, so that was great. These were fantastic. I've not had these in a while. Good pair of Barkers. These are Barker, what's it called? Creative Collection. Yeah, they've got a tiny bit of wear at the back there, but nothing too bad. Paid 10 quid for those and should get about 50, 60 back on them. These Nike Air Classic sort of trainers, I think they're Bo Johnson sort of endorsed ones, the American baseball player. But yeah, I paid 5 quid on those, should get about 40 back on those hopefully. I paid up on these Dr. Martens, these really good condition, Dr. Martens Tech Tough. Paid 15 quid on them, they're size 10, but I've asked like 60 quid for them, might have to knock it down, but they'll go for 40 easily, and probably hopefully a bit more, maybe around the £50 mark. So yeah, pleased with that. Picked up a Rosetta Stone, I always pick these up. It's a Swedish one, paid 3 quid for this. Yeah, Swedish level 1. It's got complete in there with the headset and stuff like that, so you should get about 30 quid. You're not actually allowed to sell Rosetta Stone on eBay, so you've got to be a bit creative about how you get around that. Either put a really low buy it now price, or I normally do it on a second account, which I've got just in case there's any problems with it. So yeah, I should do alright with that. Paid 4 quid for these little Jordans. Retro Freeze, I think they are. And then one shop had a half price sale, so all their PS stuff, or I mean, everything was half price. So I picked up some of their media. I wouldn't have ordinarily picked this stuff up, but this Disney mix isn't too bad for the dancing stage mix. The dance mat, I normally steer clear of this stuff, but the Disney one's worth having, so I paid 75p for that. Alien Trilogy 75p, and yeah, this Jungle Book one I wouldn't have picked up, but 75p I'll put those together as a little pair. Medal of Honor, and then Ace Combat 3, and there's not really much money in this. I should have left this one probably, but it's about £4 game. And then another shop I went into, they normally have media and stuff out. They didn't have anything. I never really asked, but I just thought, oh, I'm just going to do it. And I just asked her, I said, have you got any games or anything like that? You normally have some. And she goes, oh yeah, I've got a big bundle out the back, but I've not put it out yet. Shall I bring it up to the till and you can have a look through? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And she brought out loads of PlayStation 1 stuff, and I was like, oh, this could be a real winner. But it was all like FIFA and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and crap like that. So I did pick up a couple of bits, and they were £2 each. So I paid up a bit on them, but you know, a couple of Ratchet and Clank for the PS3, which goes a little bundle. Final Fantasy, which is not a huge amount of value in that, maybe £7 sort of top end. This was nice. Hit and Run on the Xbox, which goes for a bit more than the PS2 version, so you should get about 12 to 15 on that. And then I paid in another shop, found this Office Home and Student £2, and it's the Service Desk edition. Not that makes a huge difference, but I will phone up and see how many uses it's got left on that. Office Home and Student has 3 uses, whereas some of the other ones just have 1 use. So it's always a good one to pick up, because rarely is anyone ever going to use all 3 of it. Picked up another 10 pairs of these Dr. Martens in the week. I think I've up to 40 pairs of them, so I've spent £1,000 on those now, but doing well with them and selling them. They're nice. Yeah, real good seller this Christmas, so really pleased with those. And then also one thing, quickly show you, I picked up a really nice eBay pickup. I was willing to pay £80 for this, and I got it for 55. It's Zelda, the Zelda Game Boy Color games, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, in really nice condition. It's got, I'm not going to open them up, but it's got the instructions in there and the games and everything like that, and they're really nice. Shame it's got that W.H. Smith sticker on it, but really, really good. And then it's also got the guide here, and these have been selling. The price of these has just gone up and up and up. It's gone crazy. Somebody managed to get like 140 quid, and somebody got 130 quid or something like that for the pair. So I've really pushed the boat out on these and sort of asking 150 quid. So I'll see what happens with that. It'd be great if it does. Then it's also just got Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Link's Awakening on original Game Boy, and then the Phantom Hourglass as well. So those will all just be sold back as part of it. But I don't really buy much stuff off eBay anymore. Occasionally I might look for like Game Boy bundles or bits and pieces, but not much. But yeah, this just caught my eye, and I thought I wasn't going to win it. I thought it was going to get bid up way over that. So yeah, for 55 quid there should be some good money in that. Anyway, guys, I hope you're all well. I hope things are going well. I'm not part of the forum, which I've heard a few people talk about, simply because I see the Facebook group and I pop in and have a little look at what people are saying on there every now and then. But if I just start signing up for a forum as well, I know I'm just never going to actually get any work done, which I need to do. Oh yeah, that's one last thing to say actually. Today there was a load of Hot Wheels stuff at the Carboot sale. And it was all boxed, but the boxes were all ripped up, and I couldn't really tell what was in what. And the guy did have loads. He must have had about 10, 15 sort of sets, and they were £3 each, these sets. And maybe if I was feeling up for it, I could have bought 10 sets and done sort of like a job lot or something like that. But it was just a really good example of sometimes, you know, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, or you don't want to sort of start going down alleys and avenues, which is stuff that you've never sold before. It's going to take ages to sort it out, to list it, to work out what you've got, to bundle it all up. There would have been some money in it, but in my situation, it was just too much work, and it's not something I've sold before. So that's the first time really that I've sort of passed up on something where there probably was some money in it, but I just couldn't really be bothered with my time and what it was going to work out at. So maybe that's a lesson learned for me. So I was just saying, maybe that's a lesson learned for me, and probably because I do buy too much. So yeah, don't think you've got to buy everything just because there's money in it. You know, be selective if stuff's getting on top of you. Anyway, guys, I hope you're doing well. I'll speak soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.